Sound good?
No. Testing. Oh. We're on now. Can you hear us out there? No. Can you hear us? Testing.
Alright, let's get this party started. Welcome everybody to the February County Commissioners meeting. We'll get going with the roll call. Or I'm sorry, I'll do the opening ceremony. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have prayer. Gracious Father in heaven, we're thankful for the beauties of yet another day. We're thankful, even though, of course, that we live in Michigan and endure some inclement cold weather. We see some signs of spring on the horizon with the lengthening of the days. We look forward to that. We invite your presence this afternoon and ask that as we make decisions that they'll be not only for the betterment of our community, but also acceptable in thy sight as well. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Sorry about that. I got a little backwards there.
No problem.
Now, we will do roll call.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Chair Hoffmaster.
Here.
Commissioner Malone.
Here.
Commissioner Rosado.
Here.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Commissioner Yunker. Here.
Very good. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to amend the agenda, removing closed session.
Second. A motion by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Malone. Team discussion. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed the same? Motion carries. All right, moving on to our consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion with Commissioner Rosado and second by Commissioner Baker. Any discussion? All in favor of aye?
Aye.
Opposed the same? Motion carries. All right, very good. We move on to public comment. We reach the portion of our agenda that is very important. The opportunity to hear from all of you. In your comments, please address board members only, and not any audience members or staff members. Out of respect for everyone's time in the room, we ask that you keep your comments to 4 minutes. When you address the commission, please state your name and address for the record. With that, we will open the floor to public comment. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Weaver, 70503 Suxton Road, White Pigeon, Michigan. Suppose you went to the doctor's office and were told you have 3 cancerous tumors. However, the doctor only planned to remove 1. Wouldn't you be alarmed? machines can be used to look votes and manipulate results, that is not their fundamental purpose. The machines are used to relay totals throughout the election. What are the tallies? How many ballots are needed to take the lead? They provide essential info on the numbers and who has not voted. This is key and enables fraud on a massive scale. Getting rid of electronics makes ballot stuffing a shot in the dark. How did they know they needed the 150,000 ballot drop in Detroit on November 3rd, 2020? Tumor 3. No excuse absentee ballots. While there are a few legitimate reasons for not voting in person on election day, the switch to making absentee ballots available to everyone has enabled exponential stuffing power. Signature verification is a poor check. We have no idea who's behind every absentee ballot. Since every part of our electronic election system can be hacked, so can the voter database with the signatures on file. Those signatures can be printed and submitted with an absentee ballot for a perfect match. I have heard of people visiting family members, getting them to sign their absentee ballot and filling out the ballot for them. Is that a legitimate vote? Again, our clerks have no idea who is behind every absentee ballot. We may have had a Republican win in 2024, but we can't expect it to happen again. Trump was an incredibly strong candidate, and Kamala was a weak one. I firmly believe there was ballot stuffing in the past election, but the Democrat turnout wasn't there. Trump actually didn't gain that many votes from 2020 to 2024, but the Democrat turnout decreased. I'll end with this thought. Until we address the dire tumors in our election system, it cannot be trusted.
Thank you, Captain. Anyone else? Come on up.
So I have a couple of things. I wanted to thank Commissioner Rosado for holding the preliminary parliamentary procedure meeting. I did make copies of the things that were handed out at that meeting, and I gave it to the clerk for you all. I also messaged Steve Cara and got some books for you guys as well, which is Michigan Constitution for the people, by the people, and a couple of other things. I appreciate if you guys would read them. I have a copy of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, and there are a couple things that I've noticed that have not been done regarding that. Section 125.3891, the Planning Commission shall make an annual report to the legislative body. I have been coming to these meetings for well over a year now, and have not seen the Planning Commission come in and do a report like all the other committees do, and I would like to know if that would be addressed and be changed as well. Also, looking at your guys' county website, there is not a single meeting minutes or anything regarding the Planning Commission. I had to call and ask the clerk where to find the information for the Planning Commission. So there needs to be minutes posted as well in that same section. There also is, they're supposed to be open for the public 4 hours a day regarding information regarding the Planning Commission, and that is not being happened either. And I was asking and wondering if you guys know of any funding that nobody has looked at regarding the water white pigeon. Because I have 3 water bottles back there in my trailer, too much to carry up here. But I have one of Cherry Pepsi, Arnold Palmer Tea, and my Village Water, and you can barely tell the difference between the 3. And I have tried everywhere from Governor Whitmore's office all the way down to Steve Carr, Eagle, everybody, and nobody has funding. Our water debt service fee will be increased by $200 every 3 months, and nobody can afford that. So if you guys can think of any funding or anything, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Anyone else like to address the commission? All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comment, and we will move on to 7 presentations. We've asked Ruben Safehouse to come up and give us a presentation. Jim Stuck and Tiffany White. Come on up, guys. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Tiffany Wagler. I'm with 2019, we started our 501c3 with the hopes of filling a gap for children who are being removed from unsafe situations and going into their placement. We created the concept because we experienced this firsthand after fostering some children through our home. And when we took in a child that was 10 out of the age bracket, we were able to understand a little bit fully what she was feeling and going through at the time, feeling distress and humiliation when she walked through our doors not having any belongings. In 2019, we got a blessing from the state to open a safe house and also a storage space, which allowed children to come and shop, get all their basic needs met there, and then get all the key essentials so when they went to their replacement, they were able to have belongings in their hands, releasing shame and humiliation for not having any belongings. Then COVID hit, and so we decided that we needed to stop using the safe house and focus solely on what was being used the most, which is what we're doing now. I would love to tell you that we are successfully using the storage facility, which is located right here downtown Centerville, across the street, at 104 West Main Street. We have been supporting children going through the foster care system, as well as guardianship and kinship placements, reunification, and high-risk cases as well. Last year, we supported 175 kids going through those traumatic situations. And right now, we're addressing another issue that those kids are now facing, which is the lack of placements. These children also often are taken and removed from their situations and not having immediate placement because of the lack of foster families in our county. So what they're doing is they're doing something most commonly called house hopping, which is a child will go to one foster family for a night and then possibly another foster family for an evening and so on. They're also being divided in sibling groups. Sometimes they're taken to each side of the state to shelters to find housing. We would love to eliminate that process by opening a safe house, which would give every child an opportunity to come to our facility to get cleaned up, get their key essentials met, and give the caseworker a bit more time to find suitable housing for those children. And that amount of time, the goal is to get that child situated, as well as to keep children together with their sibling group, whereas right now it's virtually impossible because of the time crunch that a caseworker faces. So we have been successful in buying and purchasing land that's local here in Centerville. It's an undisclosed location for the safety of the children going through that procedure because we don't want biological parents understanding where their children are coming to get cleaned up. But we have contractors on board, and we, just as recently, had only $200,000 left to in order to build.
I'm Jim Stuck, Chairman of Fire Converters in Constantine. This crisis in the foster care system is not unique to St. Joseph County. The difference, though, is that St. Joseph County is actually doing something about it, so we're very proud about that. This project has been a collaboration between the private and public sectors of our county. The 4 community foundations in our county have come together, and they have offered a $100,000 investment in this project. Our company, Fire Converters, has made a $100,000 matching grant. The skilled trades have come together, and they have donated, say, their in-kind services, both their time and oftentimes materials. And last but certainly not least, churches and service clubs have opened their doors to allow us to share, say, this message and the need, and have allowed us to ask their members for support. We would love to add, the county government, say, to our growing list of supporters. But more important, we just thank you for your service and for your time.
Thank you so much for coming and doing the presentation. We have a couple other presentations, and then we have some new business that we'll take care of, and we can help out. Thanks. Any questions? Yes, absolutely. Sorry.
Quick question. In regards to the materials that you give to the DHS, to the kids,
Yes.
like blankets and coats and all that, are those new items or are those stuff that had been done?
So there's very specific items that absolutely have to be new. Undergarments are one, obviously. And actual shoes are one of the items
Thank you.
Amazon's been a great friend. Yeah, you're welcome to send anything to our building.
Yeah, any other questions from the commissioners? Awesome, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Moving on to B, 2024 Buildings and Grounds Annual Report. Jody Taylor.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Master, board members, and county administration. My name is Joey Elger, the Building and Grounds Director. I'm here today to present the annual report for our department, showcasing operations, challenges, and successes of the past year. This is a little extensive, so I'll probably skip around a little bit to shorten it. Our department consists of 4 dedicated staff members, 2 in maintenance and 2 in custodial services. Each team plays a vital role in maintaining the operational functionality and cleanliness of our county buildings. We oversee 14 county buildings and property, including the historic courthouse, the courts building, Three Rivers Family Courts, the Sheriff's Department, County Jail, Animal Control, the MSU Extension, St.Joseph County Infirmary Cemetery, and several others. Our responsibilities include maintenance, preventative maintenance, and custodial services, repairs, and facility upgrades. One thing that we implemented in 2024 is called the request tracker. It's a maintenance request system that the system is designed to give department employees the ability to inform building and grounds of the needs that may arise during the workday. The system has greatly improved communications with all departments across the board. This has also been a great tool for building and grounds to track and prioritize department needs. And I'd like to thank Dustin Bainbridge and IT for their role in making this program successful. In the historic courthouse this year, in this very room, we added 40 feet of flex ductwork to the HVAC system. We had a bunch of noise that was a part of the previous system, and that's greatly improved acoustics, and we can reduce a bunch of noise in here. So that was a great improvement here. Operation Greenlight was launched in partnership with the board this year, supporting local veterans. This was a very successful initiative, and I appreciate the board's commitment to honoring those who serve. And as you can see, there's ladders and stuff around here. Castle Coating has been doing paint touch-ups on the first, second, and third floor, as well as this room, which is still underway. They're doing a great job. The courts building, multiple components of redesign are underway, with the roofing portion that has already been completed. Probate and juvenile department relocation, we successfully coordinated the move to the new Three Rivers facility, ensuring minimal disruption. The transition was smooth and very efficient. In the Three Rivers courthouse, we ensured snow plowing, shoveling, and parking lots were salted, and all that stuff was in place for this first winter season. Our team has managed several light snow and ice storms successfully with clear lots and sidewalks. We've installed a water softener, and we are still monitoring some humidity issues. JDT, which is a part of that building, which is the Juvenile Day Treatment Center. We repaired and patched holes throughout that department. Had been somewhat neglected as it was run through the city. But we've put a bunch of work into there. We've painted the entire department. We patched and replaced carpeting over there. It's really revitalized the space. I'm happy with how that looks right now. There's a couple of things I still need to do over there, but it's kind of a work in progress. Annex 1, we've had some water issues over there. There's an ongoing assessment remediation in progress. We did, however, move the Department of Corrections downstairs into the courts building, so that is still something that I'm dealing with. Annex 2, we also painted the whole interior of Annex 2. We put new carpet squares throughout the whole building. I sealed and striped the parking lots, and we put up all new handicap signs. And we put a new concrete sidewalk leading up to the south portion of that building. I We replaced all 3 awnings over there and utilized the original frames, and we just put new canvases on them, so that looked really nice. The Sheriff's Training Center, we sealed that lot, crack filled it, and striped it to enhance the overall look and safety of the lot, with some ADA accessibility improvements to support early voting. The generator was also installed to support early voting in case the building lost power. We did some work at Central Dispatch. We added a new drinking fountain with a bottle fill station. That was last year, that was in '23. We replaced an HVAC unit for improved climate control. We sealed, striped, and crack filled the lot. And we had something interesting happen this year that hasn't happened before. And we had birds that were attacking the building. For some reason, they didn't like the reflection, so we installed some spike strips on all the sills over there, and that stopped everything as far as I know. There's been a lot of work going on at the Sheriff's Department. We did complete a roofing project over there, which has greatly improved the building envelope and the building's efficiency. We've managed to stop all the water from entering the building. Did a huge mechanical overhaul over there. We upgraded the solar system. We put in more photovoltaic cells to harvest more sunlight, and we decommissioned a solar thermal hot water system, and we reduced building weight by thousands of pounds. So that was good. We've improved shower floors over there with epoxy coatings to make them last longer, so we're not continuing to put paint on areas like that. And we also sealed, crack filled, and striped the parking lots. And we also did some LED improvements in the evidence barn, the gold barn, and the mobile command center barn. We've been doing a lot of work at animal control as well, a lot of facility improvements. There's guillotine doors that allow the dogs to go outside, and we covered those in sheet metal and painted them. The pressure treated wood was being chewed by the dogs, and the weather was deteriorating the wood openings. We've installed epoxy flooring throughout high traffic animal areas and in spaces like the lobby and the bathrooms. That was in '23 as well. We had a water main break over there, which we found and repaired and restored the utility to the building. We had a roof leak over there that was fixed under warranty at no cost to the county. We updated the garage doors over there. We relocated the anesthesia room to properly store medical supplies, and we made room for both of the animal control vehicles so they could park those in the garage. And we upcycled all the materials from that anesthesia room to cover some of the kennels outside to prevent the dogs from escaping. So that worked out very nice. But in conclusion, I'd just like to express my gratitude to my team for their hard work, dedication, and adaptability throughout the year. Their efforts have ensured that our buildings are safe, functional, and well maintained. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for your ongoing support, which enables us to accomplish our projects. And that's about all I got. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any further details.
Yeah, thank you for that report. Jody, do you have any questions from the commissioners?
I have one question. I'm sure there'll be others from other commissioners maybe. One question on the handicap parking. Can you tell me how you did that? What did you do for that?
As far as waiting the handicap parking.
Yes, in other words, there's more to handicap parking than just painting a blue stripe or a blue block. Are there also signs?
Yes, sir.
So
Absolutely.
there's signs and then there's the blue area.
Yes. So in the at the extension building I was referring to, and the training center behind it, there's all the signs where you couldn't see the handicap. The space wasn't allocated to that with the sign and the painting on the parking. Yeah, so we replaced all the signs.
So you got the signs and
Yes, sir.
enforcement wise, you gotta have both.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I'm sure you had this. Over another meeting, and they thought just painting the sidewalk blue is enough.
Both of them need to be there. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, Commissioner Schaefer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nice report.
Thank you.
Busy
Yes, sir.
schedules every day.
Yes.
I was wondering about your ability to utilize any of the manpower from the trustees at the jail.
That's been a situation that has changed. Under the new sheriff, Chad Spence, he doesn't want us using, we called it the inmate worker program previously, and we were able to utilize them for all kinds of stuff, including snow removal, mowing grass, things of that nature, and all that has stopped. So that's put a tremendous amount of pressure on my department.
Maybe that'd be something that we could take a second look at. I know that personally I utilize and privately pay for some services from the Twin County Probation Center. And those folks are always looking for volunteer hours
Okay?
throughout the community. So that might be another avenue to take a look at.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's some potential to utilize children from the juvenile department as they need community service, but that often has to be really planned out. So stuff like snowstorms and things of that nature.
Sure.
But I've definitely utilized them for other projects.
Yeah, I know now Judge Kevin Kane was a big proponent of utilizing our youth.
Yes, sir.
as well. So I think it's good for kids to get out and do community service and so forth.
I agree. Yes, sir.
So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? Well, Jody, we appreciate your presentation. Like Commissioner Schaefer said, 4 dedicated employees,
Yes.
maintenance, 14 different facilities the county maintains, and you are the right thing. We appreciate what you're doing. Obviously, it's a lot. But we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Moving on to C, 2023-24, Department of Court Annual Report. Mary Herring. I should get the phonetic spelling before we do this. Mary, welcome.
Hello. I have prepared the 23 and 24 annual report. You should have that. I'm not going to go over it word for word or anything. It does cover our collections, incentive monies, how we're basically funded, and some statistical stuff about our hearings and stuff. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. I became the federal court in, I believe it was April of 23. I've worked there since 95, but I became the front them. And obviously, we lose murderers in 24, so that was exciting for us, and we are very happy to be there, and we'll do that in the past. We also invited it was through a request from Judge Pattison. He invited the Federal Court Bureau into our office. They came in 23 and part of 24, interviewed everyone extensively, went over all of our policies and procedures, and then gave us a book about the set of recommendations. So we've been implementing a lot of those recommendations and making some changes in how we do business based on what they've recommended we do. And everything else seems to be going well. So, do you have any questions for me? I told Jody you did that for me.
Very good. Thank you for that. Any questions from any of the commissioners? Mary?
Just on source of revenues, is judgment fees and interest?
Yes.
Where would the judgment fees come from?
The judgment fee, so every case that we have, pay our child support has to be 75 cents extra per week, or I think it's 80 cents now, per week, and part of that goes to the county and part of it goes to the state. And those are processing fees, they're statutory requirements.
And that amounts to a little under $16,000 for.
Yeah, and we also charge court costs, like when there's a warrant.
Right.
There's a court cost charge on that. So that helps us offset the money we're not getting from the government or from incentive payments. Because we don't actually get paid, the federal government will not pay for custody or time enforcement. So that's something that we try to recoup in these other funding sources.
Good, makes sense. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate your presentation.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too. All right, moving on to B, 2024 Information Technology Annual Report by Dustin. Welcome, Dustin. Thank you. And we're discussing as the man who knows everybody's search history, so. Yeah, I'm always
IT department manages the computer and networking technologies. This is about 1,200 devices, including PCs, laptops, the network infrastructure, our servers, IP telephones, and security cameras, and other like Internet of Things devices that don't really fit in any of those. Including myself, the IT department consists of 5 positions that provide support for the different kind of systems, and we also provide limited support to law enforcement and first responders throughout the county. Key accomplishments that we had, I'll just highlight a couple. Throughout 2024, we saw several cybersecurity improvements, including a new firewall infrastructure. We also saw the implementation of a mobile device management system and the replacement of our multi-factor authentication system. Both of these projects improved our compliance with standards for the county courts and for law enforcement. Additionally, we migrated the county to a .gov domain, which allows us to benefit from some intrinsic security with that top domain. The most significant project involved the move of the friend of the court, juvenile, and probates to the new courts building in Three Rivers. Throughout 2023 and 2024, we interfaced with vendors to plan and manage the technology implementations for the new building. It was a heavy lift to bring all of that together all at one time, but I think we're pretty happy with it. On page 5, I talked a little bit about the challenges and risks related to IT. I think the one that's really worth mentioning here, the most significant challenge, which I don't think can really be overstated, is the transition of a couple long-time personnel from the county out of the IT department. We've already seen the departure of our network admin in December, and with the upcoming retirement of our system admin in 2025, that's going to result in a combined 40 years of organizational IT experience leading the IT department. For a department that typically hasn't had turnover, it's a pretty significant change, and we're taking steps to transfer as much knowledge as possible to new employees and prioritizing hiring staff with coming in with IT experience. But it's safe to say that this is going to kind of usher in a little bit of a new era for the IT department, just with having 2, outside of myself, our 2 senior staff members leaving in about 6 months. Discuss the performance metrics on page 6 that we obtained in 2024. By and large, these come from 2 different studies that we had from external cybersecurity providers. For the first, without going into too many details, like we regularly have penetration testing done, where they kind of do reconnaissance on the county and actually look at our digital footprint, what's out there, and what hackers might be able to see and find out about us. And then they use that information to try to get into our external defenses. Then they also send us a device which would simulate if they actually had obtained access to us, and then what a person could actually do on the network and what systems they could get through. They put that together in a report, and we use that information to kind of try to shore up anything that they find in their findings, so that we can try to plug any holes in the head of cybersecurity. The other study that's worth mentioning comes from a 3-year assessment of our implementation of the Center for Internet Security's top cybersecurity controls. That was done as part of our compliance with the work of iOS publication 1075. As mentioned in that report, we saw improvements across a number of cybersecurity controls over that 3-year span, which illustrates our dedication to the implementation of a complete cybersecurity framework. On to strategic initiatives. One that I think is also worth mentioning here is our continued move to the cloud. We currently operate in hybrid environments where we still maintain a lot of on-premise systems, but I would expect over the course of the next 5 years or so, we probably will transition to a cloud-first strategy, where as more and more of our systems and the vendors are kind of pushing these things into the cloud, it will only make sense for us to move the spend that we're doing with our on-premise infrastructure into moving some of that stuff into the cloud. And really, that's kind of what I wanted to highlight there. In conclusion, the IT department remains committed to delivering secure, efficient, and innovative technology solutions. Our continued investment in cybersecurity, digital transformation, and cloud governance will position the county for the future technological advancements. And I look forward to continuing to work with executive leadership here at the county and with the board to ensure a stable, secure, and modern IT infrastructure. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Justin. If you're able to answer or allowed to answer, have we been penetrated at all? Have we been put to this?
Well, what you would consider like a hack or something like that? No, nothing like that has really occurred. Won't go into too many details really beyond that, but no, there's been no indication that any sensitive data has been lost or kind of accessed.
Will you be sticking around afterwards, or will you leave after your presentation?
I can stick around if you like.
It's not that important.
Okay. But no, it's Cub Scouts for my daughter tonight, so I'm going to go on that. So.
Yeah.
It's really important. It's really important. Any other questions for Dustin? I've had the opportunity to serve on a couple committees with Dustin. There's a theme here with Jody and Dustin. Your county staff does a lot of work with very limited personnel and resources, so I think citizens of St. Joseph County can be super proud of that. Dustin does a great job, his staff does a great job. Everything from updating websites to making sure that nobody's getting penetrated. So right there. He does a great job for our county, and we appreciate what he does. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the Ray County Administrator's Report. Ms. Teresa.
Well, my job is to keep you busy here in these next few months, so I do have a few dates I wanted to throw out there for you guys on some things. So it is our hope that for the March 11th executive meeting that we will have the completed wage study report and recommendations from Bolton. So I was hoping that maybe we could start that executive meeting on the 11th at 3 o'clock. Because it was a little extra time there, if that is something that
To review that.
Representatives from Bolton will be, actually it'll probably be a Zoom, but they'll be there to present that final draft. So if that 3 o'clock on the 11th doesn't work for somebody, just let me know and we'll throw out some more dates. But think on it, and if you need to get back with me, that's fine.
Okay.
Also had a great meeting last week, or it was last week, with the individual that will be leading us through our strategic planning sessions. And so I had a great kind of meeting with her and gathered a lot of information. I would like to throw out that April 15th date from 12 to 1:30 for the kickoff with the commissioners. I did send an email out about that. Just again, take a look at that and let me know if that works or doesn't work for you. And then if it does, we'll get the ball rolling. And I'll be sending you quite a bit of information and some tools that we'll be using during this process. So that's where I come on that.
That's going to be here.
I'm thinking, I gotta check to make sure, but I think I'm having it at the Three Rivers Chamber of Commerce room that they have there, their conference room. So I'm sorry, noon to 1:30 on the 15th of April.
Yeah. And you sent that email out.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Let me know if that doesn't work for somebody with your group.
Yep.
All right. As I reported an executive, last week or 2 weeks ago, we were able to settle the FLP command, Corrections Officer Command Group, their CBA or the contractual bargaining agreement. So that's good news. Next week we're meeting with the POA groups. There's 3 of them for mediation. So let you know how that goes. I had an interesting meeting last week with Jerry Happel, our GIS director, and the Van Buren County administrator to talk about some possible collaboration within the digital information systems or department, I believe that Jerry calls it. So a possible collaboration with Van Buren County, a little more to come on that, on Zoom, get y'all informed, but just wanted to know where we're at with that. We had leadership training last week, and I think it was a success, and a lot of fun, and hopefully our leadership staff were able to pull a few nuggets away, for that. And she's working hard on closing up 2024, getting there, right? And then we have an opioid task force meeting tomorrow, so still working through that process. And a whole lot of other things, but there's some highlights for you.
Very good. We appreciate that. Any questions for the county engineer?
Can you elaborate a little bit on the opiate task force? What's their purpose?
Yeah, so we put together a group of staff, and actually I believe there's some community members that sit on that. So that was kind of the task force was to really go through and kind of map out what we want that process to look like and how we're going to use those opioid dollars. So kind of the task force that we start with, we'll make some decisions, some recommendations, then that we'll take to the full board as well. So again, the meetings part, we kind of got stalled out. Michigan Association of Counties had a kind of a dedicated person that was we were working with, and that funding got pulled. I don't know what happened, but we lost that dedicated person, so we had to backtrack a little bit on that. But Kevin Kane, Judge Kane, is heading up that group. So.
Very good. All right, well, thank you for that. Moving on to 9, committee reports and appointments. Any committee reports? Any commissioners want to share? Commissioner Schenker.
I have a committee report, Mr. Chairman. And I'm not going to necessarily ask for Commissioner's show of hands, but I do want to bring forth again the terminology, no wrong door. We had a presentation a few weeks ago by Laura Sutter from the Area Agency on Aging that was writing a grant relative to the No Wrong Door program, which essentially is a single person working through the Department of Human Services that families can go to relative to when there are questions concerning placement, maybe for mom or dad or grandma or whatever, rather than just dropping that person off at the nursing home because they didn't know who to turn for other alternatives in long-term care. So that grant was approved, just got noticed a few days ago. Laura's in the process. We're one of 5 Michigan sites that was selected for that type of a program. So looking forward, right now she's in the process of actually developing the mechanics of how it's going to work for our county. So hopefully we can invite her back to share a little bit more about the implementation stage of the No Wrong Door program.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good. Well, thank you for that. Any other committee reports?
Yeah. We've had quite a bunch of meetings with physical resources. We met last week. We've had quite a few conversations. Supposed to get back to some numbers on whether this fix for the 3 buildings is going to work. Supposed to get those numbers back. There's no where we're going to go from there. There's been some additional drywall cracking, wood separation, so we're gonna get back to us on that. Chris and I met Monday morning. With Echo Woodell, Spartan Group, and Frederick Construction went through a page turn of all mechanical, plumbing, and electrical, which was a good thing because there's things that didn't make sense that need to happen. A few minor changes to the permit as far as security and stuff, and things of that nature.
And that's what set up, right?
It's all
That's what that's what set up, okay.
yeah, all the stuff was sent other than the tractor. Other than that, not really much more to report on.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker has the expertise in the mechanical, and I appreciate you kind of taking that on. So that's good. Any other appointments or committee reports?
Yes, I have just a couple of things here.
Yeah.
The February engineer, Ed Klein, is putting together a proposal to re-sign the approaches to the covered bridge from all directions, hoping to better alert the motoring public to the height of weight restrictions. And you all know, there's already plenty of signs there, but now they're coming up with different signage to try to get everybody to observe and see these signs. You know, when it comes to marketing, obviously, you put up a sign, after a while, people don't see it. So maybe they're thinking of changing the fonts and the colors, etc. So hopefully we'll have less incidents at the covered bridge. That's it for now. The rest of the stuff is stuff that is. Everybody's not ready here to read.
Awesome, thank you. We appreciate that.
Christian, do you have anything at the story session? Give us something.
I don't know, there's so much.
Right.
No, I am concerned about, as a new commissioner, the lack of Three Rivers, the issues in Three Rivers, in proceeding forward with the courthouse renovation here. But that is my concern.
Mike.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to 10, unfinished business, unfinished business. Number 11, new business. The Root Safe House Corporations.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the appropriation for Wooded House in the amount of $15,000 for the CDBG program, out of the CDBG program income funds. And if it's seconded, then we'll have some discussion on it.
You know, that's how it works. We have a motion. Do we have the second by Commissioner Yonker? We have a motion. And second, any discussion?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to have Angie elaborate for us a little bit about a concern that I have and others have shared with me is, if we take this $15,000 out of that account, are we going to be hurting others by pulling that money out, or somebody not going to get it? And I'd like her to clarify a little bit about that for the public edification.
There you go. Ms. Angie.
Can you say CDBG?
It was Spanish letters.
So, let's see if I can articulate this in a good way. So some years we have the emergency repair program funding dollars that I bring to you usually in July or August, depending on the dollars that we receive for the prior year. So in the 12-month measurement period, which is July through June, if we receive $35,000 or more, they have to be used for a federal program, which we have selected year after year to do the emergency repair program, which takes a low-income homeowner and provides those dollars to them to fix a sewer problem, fix a furnace problem, fix their roof. When we do give those grants, if it's $2,500 or less, they do not have to pay it back. If we were to give a homeowner $5,000 to repair their roof, when they sell their home 30 years from now, in the mortgage and the note that they're provided, when we give them that grant, they have to pay it back. If it's over $2,500. If it's under $2,500, it's forgiven. So the amount that they would pay back whenever they sell their house or whenever the home changes ownership is called program income. So that program income is what builds our fund balance in the CDBG fund. I think at the beginning of this year we had $74,000 in there. Some of it is spoken for with the grant funding that we gave last year, the emergency repair fund. There was still, there's always been a little bit of money in there every year. Sometimes we get up to that $35,000, sometimes we get under it. If we're under it, it just rolls into that fund balance. So those are housing grant dollars, program income from loans that were given out 15, 20 years ago that are there for, the guidelines say we can use them really for anything that we want. Usually, we don't request or ask or recommend that we spend them unless it's over the $35,000. Otherwise, we just kind of let it sit there. And when
Commissioner?
So I know we discussed the opioid funds. Why, is there a reason why we can't use those funds? Or is there no clarification? Or,
Yeah, so there are some restrictions on how you can use the opioid dollars. So we would need to really have this evaluated to see if it would fall under a category of use for those opioid dollars. Since the board really we haven't brought to the board yet, kind of what our recommendations are, if those dollars we want to keep in-house, if we want to open it up to the public and maybe do an RFP process. So, I guess that's why we didn't recommend using those dollars at this point until we really, there's no time limit on those opioid dollars, so we just really felt like this CDBG option was a.
Are you sitting down the first time tomorrow, so?
What's that?
Is that the first time that we did the survey?
No.
Or the task force?
No, they've been a few different times. Like I said, actually Jessica would have. Jessica's sitting on that, or has been sitting on that committee, but, so they've had a few meetings. And again, really talked through some options on, again, kind of what they want to see those dollars, or what would be some good opportunities where we could have the biggest impact in the community using those dollars. So, but we haven't been panicked or pushed to, to set those aside yet. So, it is an option. I mean, we could verify and see if those funds would be eligible for that, if that's the direction the board wants to go. That's what
Mr. Chairman, what I like about us being able to do this 15,000 is that it is a match fund. Correct? Correct. So we're in essence, it's $30,000 injection to this program, and I think it's well worth it. So
Thanks that you stopped by for.
yes.
I'd say we're a little, Jim's been really good with us.
Any other call for real quick, Commissioner Schaefer? Yes, or?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look at this in just a little bit different angle, but I think it's the right way to look at it. My wife and I were foster parents when we first came to St. Joseph County, hard to believe, 40 years ago. But at any rate, in foster care, at least at that time, there was two avenues. If you were going to be a foster parent, there is through the court system, you had to be licensed, or it was through back then it was the Department of Social Services licensure. And so there's never enough, sadly, never enough foster parents to go around the need for kids that need foster care. And so I look forward to this program. At least one avenue is that it's going to benefit our kids that are in the probate part of court that need foster care placement. So there is a direct link, and I can myself justify the need for giving these funds just because they're going to help our kids in St. Joseph County. And I applaud you folks for what you're doing for our county. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer.
And from a different aspect of it, my middle daughter, when she got out of college, she actually spent 2 years in Child Protective Services, and these are the kids that she dealt with every day. She saw the shortcomings, she saw the conditions on it. She knew she couldn't spend the rest of her life because it was a horrendous situation. And she did go on to other things. She's a psychologist now, but to deal specifically hands-on with that takes a special person, and they need special tools. This is a tool. This is a tool that we're helping them to provide that meets so many needs within our community, and these are services that we're already asked to provide through different departments, and they lack the ability, they lack the tools, the funding. This just allows us to help do that in a very positive way with it. My wife being a special ed teacher for her whole career, also with these kids, and heartbreaking stories that come. And the thought of being able to utilize funding in this way that is not taking from other people, but actually enhancing the lives of these young people, I think is very worthwhile.
Very good, thank you, Commissioner. Very good, okay, well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, then aye. Oh, I'm sorry, let's do a roll call. Gina, you can put it down on this paper. Can we do a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Rosado?
Yes.
Commissioner Yonker?
yes,
Commissioner Malone?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson? Chair Hofmeister?
Yes. Commissioner the motion passes. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We appreciate it very much.
One question, kind of like, how much do we have hanging out in this on this?
About 25, wasn't it?
Does it was?
Is the CDBG?
Yeah.
So there's $74,000 fund balance in there. The program income that we received this year will address that in July. And there's another restricted amount, I don't want to speak to the amount, but we definitely have $15,000 available.
No, I just wondered how much we had loaned out that we will receive back at some
Oh.
point in time.
I'm sorry, I didn't, so there are 30 to 50 grants, I actually thought about that when I sat down. We've got 30 to 50 of them that are sitting out there. When I first started here, I kind of dug into it and was getting calls on it, I don't know what this paperwork is, so way back when the county had a contract with the Community Action Agency out of Battle Creek, so I drove up there with my truck, went up in this attic and brought down a bunch of dusty boxes and went through all of them and scanned everything, and I got some files. Up till today, I've always had the file when the title office calls or when we've had a resident call and ask. So far, I haven't run into any that I don't have, but I'm not going to say it's not possible because it was a long time ago. So 30 to 50.
I just want to tolerance it rough.
I don't have a dollar amount.
Probably get something for it.
Yeah.
I could go through all the nights and
Yeah.
We can work on that.
Yeah.
Talk amongst each other.
Go through the palms and stuff.
Very good. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Very good. Okay, on to B, budget amendments. Same people. Yeah.
You're also discussing how we're gonna get that.
sorry. B, this is a budget amendment to establish the budget for the jury system that Dina had requested for $20,000, and I'm recommending that you approve that. Sounds like it's something that we actually have to have, and that would be funded out of fund balance from general fund.
Make a motion to establish it, or to, make a budget amendment for computer maintenance and service contract for, yeah.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Baker, second by Commissioner Long. Any further discussion? All in favor, with an aye? Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Number 2.
Second budget amendment is a transfer from the fund balance of the Commission on Aging for $64,000 for a new Meals on Wheels truck. And I recommend that you also approve that one. The COA does have a fund balance just over $1 million, and that's based on our last audited fiscal year. That is expected to go a little bit up this year, but there's plenty of money in there to cover the cost of people.
I make that motion with support, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, very good. We have a motion by Commissioner Schaefer, second by Commissioner Malone. Any further discussion? All in favor, with an aye?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Very good. On to 12, Commissioner comments. Commissioner Zell.
I don't have any comments other than I'm looking forward to seeing this hospital built and being put to use. And thank you for all of your efforts and everybody else who's participated.
Yes, and thank you to the fire members for giving us information to the county.
Very good. Commissioner Schaefer.
Always good to have good audience participation at commission meetings. Special recognition to our former commissioner friend, Larry Walton. Glad you're with us this evening. And special thanks to our road commission this time of year. You see those guys, hats off to them. That's all.
Thank you for that, Commissioner Malone.
That's all. I'm so pleased to see this moving along, seeing us be able to utilize these funds to help them make that. And I appreciate everybody that stood behind the project before us to get to this point. And thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Mr. Baker.
I'd like to thank Mr. Scott. This man does a lot of things behind the scenes that not everybody knows about. This is just the tip of the iceberg you can see. He's a great philanthropist in our county. Being that I was a foster parent at one time and adopted through the foster system, I know what they go through. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Mr. Baker. And I just wanted to echo Commissioner Baker's thoughts on that. It's great what you guys are doing. We appreciate it. It's amazing to see this come to fruition. Tiffany, you and your group did that. It's amazing what you guys are doing. I appreciate that. Just to give, you're never going to walk out of here without getting a little bit more kudos, Jim. So, Firefighter, doing stuff, kind of stuff. Those guys have done amazing things in our county. Just like Commissioner Baker said, the things you see are phenomenal. And they're big amounts too. The lowest stuff, Family Pavilion in Three Rivers was a six-figure donation to our track park, and we appreciate that. The things you don't see. In 2013, my son, as you all know, or many of you know, my son was diagnosed with leukemia at 5. It was pretty amazing time. And Lincoln is 17, and you see him on the streets, you wouldn't know that he was diagnosed with leukemia, but Jim and Dad stuff were the first people to come to the hospital.
Very.
Many others similar.
Something that actually can make you be quiet.
I know, right? Meant a lot to us. And these are things you don't see. We appreciate it. So, with that, we appreciate everything that all of the citizens of St. Joseph County do, and especially guys like Jim and Miss Dunn and stuff. So, we appreciate it. With that, I'll entertain a adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of aye?
Aye.
All the same? Motion carries. Enjoy your evening.
Hey, oh yeah.
Yes.